Hello and welcome back to the Sam Beast YouTube channel. My name is David Foxen, and as always, before we start, please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We've been growing a lot lately and we've got some amazing ITAM based content coming up over the next few months and years. So please join us on this journey, subscribe, like this video. Now today we are going to be focusing on ITAM for AI. That's IT asset management and how ITAM can help support any artificial intelligence or AI methodologies or projects or implementation that your organization is looking at. First things first, let's start off with the obvious. We had it with cloud, we had it with SaaS licensing, we've had it with pretty much everything that comes into ITAM, that this is going to be the death of ITAM. That's it now. AI is here. You no longer need ITAM humans to do the job. Wrong. Incorrect, and we are going to look through those reasons now as to why that is incorrect and how ITAM actually plays a key role in artificial intelligence within organizations. First things first, the most important one that we're going to look at is the data quality and the general ITAM learning. So you think about artificial intelligence, right? It is learning based off data. There's loads of books and stories about how the first iterations of artificial intelligence didn't work properly because they were learning from bad data. There's all sorts of case studies in America and in Europe where they were trying to use artificial intelligence for like medical purposes, looking at, the likelihood rates of people with asthma being submitted to hospital or needing hospital treatment, and it didn't go well. The data they were learning from was wrong because local doctors were not updating it, they weren't populating it correctly, and therefore the AI gave the doctors wrong information, basically. And it's very similar with ITAM. AI needs to learn from data, and you think about how valuable and crucial data is within IT asset management. For AI, I'm thinking about things like the asset management database, the configuration management database, your approved software list, your definitive software libraries, your licensing portals, all of this data that all points towards supporting the implementation of AI within your organization. Think about it, right? Say your service management team or your director comes to you and says, we're looking to implement chatbots for service desk, right? We don't want them have to type in and go, I need photo editing software. You want to have that conversation with a bot, right? So how does that bot know what approved software is out there, what licensable software there is, and what licenses are spare if it doesn't have good ITAM data underpinning that? You go to your intranet portal where you can request hardware, software, issues, etc., and you don't know the exact software that you're looking for. You could type into a chatbot and say, I'm looking for photo editing software that allows me to use vector graphics and layers and all of that funky design stuff. AI, with good ITAM data behind it, with an approved software catalog, definitive software library, etc., can go, I know that Adobe Photoshop is your approved photo editing software. Can you provide some justification? Now, ITAM can also help build AI's learning on what valid business justification would be for a software request, for example. You can give it keywords, things to look out for, and then AI will go through and look and say, yep, that's enough justification, or no. You could also include words like to do my job, which is not valid business justification. Great, but you didn't need this software yesterday to do your job, so what's changed today as to why you suddenly need this to do your job? So it can learn all of that, but you, as in ITAM, we need to give it the parameters on what it's looking for and what it's learning. You can even take this further. When it's looked for the keywords on the business justification, it's found what software it is, to then look at the Adobe portal, in this case, for example, to see if there are any spare licenses. It can then automatically assign those licenses, put users in the right Active Directory groups or deployment groups, or wherever you're managing the physical deployment of the software, and off you go. No human has been interacting in with this. AI has led the way and become practically an additional ITAM team member. However, that is taking into account, like I said, all of your data being accurate and correct and what AI is learning being correct. For that, you're going to need an approved software catalog. If we're just looking at software, and we'll look at hardware in a second, you need an approved software catalog of all of the software that's been onboarded correctly through ITAM, legal, information security, maybe even finance and procurement, in a list, description on what it does, description on what the justification should be. Okay? You're also going to need the definitive software library, which contains the licensing information that you have. This may already be in another technology, an ITAM tool, a ServiceNow, an ITSM tool, wherever you're storing your software licenses, even in Excel or even in a SharePoint page. That's going to need to be accurate. It's going to need to have integrations with the vendor portals as well for SaaS-based licensing. It's going to need to see what licenses you have, what's spare, so that it doesn't over-deploy for you. But again, it all needs that groundwork, that ITAM data. A lot of organizations are trying to jump on the AI bandwagon, but they're running before they can walk. They're not considering all of the data implications, what AI is going to learn from it. It's a case of, yep, we want these chatbots in there now, but you haven't got an updated approved software catalog. You don't even have a definitive software library. It's in spreadsheets. It's not updated either. You don't have the integration with your SaaS portals. And by the way, you haven't documented anywhere what the keywords would be should a user request this software for AI to go and look for keywords or phrases. So maybe bring it back a bit and talk to your ITAM team first so that we can build this out. On software, the end goal for things like the service desk bots, the chat bots, etc., even the use of AI in this instance, is that the process could be zero touch, right? The user goes into the portal, like we said, doesn't know what it wants. AI looks at your approved software catalog, looks at what you got licenses for, approves it. You can even add in recharging in there. I've seen some organizations that I haven't worked with yet, but what I've seen has been amazing in terms of they're looking at the recharging side of things as well. So that's all automated. A lot of that request process is automated, but they are spending a lot of time on the data, on the information from ITAM that AI will be looking and referring to. That is taking a lot of time. Do not underestimate that. I mean, moving forward, you could even use AI for, the license refreshing, automatic, removals from software, which you can do already with things like SCCM and ServiceNow. When it gets to day 31, you remove it. You could also have AI look at that more in depth. End of life software, we need to upgrade software, operating system updates, etc., etc. There's no shortage, which is scary but also exciting, on what AI can do to help ITAM. But we're looking at how ITAM can help AI, and it's with all of that groundwork, all of that data, keeping that data accurate and populated. And let's be honest, as AI evolves and grows, it could make some wrong decisions on license compliance. It may deploy software to the wrong instance, thinking it's the wrong licensing model, where you've recently changed models or agreement structures. It needs to learn and it needs to understand that. So that's on the software side. Now, on the hardware data side of things, asset management database. That's all I'm going to say to you. You need an accurate AMDB in order to use AI within your organization for hardware purposes. The AI is going to be looking at your AMDB, looking at things like who it's assigned to, scheduled retirement dates, warranty dates, your standard hardware convention, what models and specs have you approved for standard usage throughout your organization, which designer laptops do you have, which VIP laptops do you have you have MacBooks, do you have iPhones, do you have tablets. It needs to learn all of that, and all of that information and data comes from, you guessed it, ITAM. If you don't have an approved hardware convention, how does AI know what to approve or what to suggest to line managers when they're trying to onboard a new user? If you don't have an up-to-date AMDB with no scheduled retirement dates or warranty information, and your service desk team or you as ITAM are coming to it and saying, AI, what do we need to refresh? They're going, I have no idea. You're not maintaining your AMDB. I don't see any scheduled retirement dates. I don't see any warranty expiry date. Unfortunately, no idea. Not a clue. And of course, you can integrate your AMDB with hardware vendor, portals and APIs and stuff like that to get that automated warranty information in there. But again, you need a really accurate AMDB. You need all of your assets to be discovered to then leverage AI to support intelligent hardware decisions and to automate a lot of the admin tasks that ITAM does. Again, like with the software, you could have someone go in and say, or not even go in, actually even better than that, forget that idea of someone going to a service desk portal. AI goes to the user and says, you need to do a hardware refresh. Your device is reaching end of life. You need to come in and replace it for this model, this asset tag at this time to this service desk agent, etc. And you can do that with workflows now, but you have to create and develop the workflows, and there's some tweaks and stuff that you need to do for that. But AI could help support that. AI could also help with inactive hardware usage like it would do with software usage. You should be doing that anyway already. A lot of the time it is manual. You can automate it again using workflows, but then on like the 31st day of a device being offline, it goes off. Why is this device offline? If you don't need it, bring it back to IT. If it is needed, connect to the network. We need an updated inventory record for it. Or even identifying when inventory agents and stuff on those devices are not reporting properly. You may find that a device has been offline for a long period of time. Actually, it is online. There's just an issue with the discovery or the agent that's on the device. AI can help with that. And just expanding a bit further on the hardware side of things, we've been talking to a lot of hardware vendors lately about the AI capabilities and possibilities. And some hardware vendors are openly saying that they're looking to build their own artificial intelligence to support customers with things like when they identify a machine starting to run slowly, when load times seconds slower rather than they used to be, when the battery life isn't quite as optimal as it was, and giving you that kind of intelligence, that kind of information, so that you, as the ITAM team, can spot the problems before it impacts the user. How cool would that be if ITAM gets a report and says, "Ooh, hold on, this device is currently loading 5 seconds slower than it normally is. Look at the hardware refresh rates. Yep, that's due for retirement in 6 months. It started to cause an impact with the user. The battery life is not as good as it used to be thanks to the AI data that we're receiving from the hardware vendor. Let's refresh it before it becomes an issue for the user." That would be a dream from an ITAM perspective. The value that we are then providing our end users to find an issue before it happens, to get it sorted out and get it refreshed. I mean, if end users didn't love ITAM already, they are absolutely going to love ITAM at that point. Not only on the data side of things, but there's some more traditional ITAM-y ways in which that we can support artificial intelligence as well. First things first, very much like with software asset management, we can identify AI-based software, things like Copilot, right? Things like ChatGPT. ITAM can see who's using that, where it is, and then also look at the costs and the licensing implications of that. There's various different iterations of AI technology. Some require a license, some don't. Some require a subscription, some don't. ITAM can play a key role in bringing that all together, looking at what AI platforms are being used by the organization, and then see if there's optimization opportunities, streamlining, standardization, etc. Now, standardizing on an AI platform may not be as simple as it would be for like a CAD piece of software or graphic design or photo editing, because a lot of these AIs are evolving at different speeds and also have different capabilities. And I was speaking to Alex from Licenseware actually just last week about this, and he was saying they've got a plethora of AI tools because they're all looking at different things. There's no one size fits all at the moment. If you want something to do some coding, then there's an AI that's amazing for that. If you want document management and data, there's another one that's really good for that. They're not quite all equal yet. So standardizing on one, I know ITAM, we love to standardize on things and reduce this sprawling. May not quite be possible for AI, but we'll get there, don't worry. So yeah, we can help with license costs, license management, etc. for all of those AI products, very much like you would with other software licenses and contract renewals. ITAM for AI, literally old school ITAM for new school AI in managing licenses, costs, subscriptions. See, just treat it again like another piece of software, another SaaS application, right? It needs to be onboarded by legal, security, ITAM, maybe even procurement and finance. It may need to be onboarded into your procurement tools, added to your approved software library, etc. ITAM leads that, plays a key role in that anyway, so AI tools and technologies will just be another add-on onto that. Also important to note, it may be relevant for your organization, but work with legal on the ramifications of using AI for official documentation within the organization. We've done a video on this, and I get why people are using AI to support ITAM processes, policies, controls, etc. But it still needs to be modified for the organizational use. It needs to be humanized, basically. Work with your legal team, your document management team, see how that would work if you can spot people using AI. Just copy and paste in, put it into Word, boom, there's our new process or policy. You need to really make sure that you're tracking any instances of that happening, maybe looking at the assigned users that have got licenses. Are they policy and process document people? Are they creators? Just triple check. They're adults. I'm sure they'd still humanize it, but just triple check with your legal and doc management team what their stance is on that. ITAM can also help with the governance and management of AI from a process perspective. We've already mentioned about the optimization, the costs, but we can also help with, maybe bespoke processes just for requests for AI software or AI licenses or even AI instances. ITAM can create the processes, manage them, work with the key stakeholders, work with the software champions or the application owners for AI products, and we can play a key role in making sure we've got those guardrails up for any AI products that enter the organization. Keep saying AI and it's sounding weird in my head. When you keep saying a word and you're like, AI, is that what I mean? Does that sound right? We've got to that point in the video. I hope you're still with us. There's two other really important ways that ITAM can help with the implementation and usage of AI. The other one is looking at the sustainability and green IT initiatives, looking at workloads, looking at utilization, very much like we do with the cloud and in the FinOps and the green ops space as well. Looking at that consumption that the artificial intelligence instances that we're using are having on the organization, the infrastructure, even looking at any of the subscription models where it's based on workloads rather than just you get X amount of credits a month, looking at those workloads, balancing that out, looking at your green IT and your ESG responsibilities. ITAM can help with that, along with all of the costs, the processes and the controls. ITAM can help with a lot. And finally, thinking longer term, ITAM can help with your AI strategy. So when your organization is looking at bringing in all of these new and exciting artificial intelligence AI tools, ITAM can help, like with any other onboarding of software and hardware. We've already mentioned the costs and the processes, but we can help with that longer term strategy. Okay, what is the plan for AI within this organization? What does that mean from a licensing standpoint, a cost standpoint, process standpoint, control standpoint, ESG standpoint, etc.? ITAM plays a key role and has a big seat at the table in being able to support that, not only in the first instances, but as we grow, as your organization tests different AI subscriptions and models, and then also as you implement that into your approved software catalog, goes through security processes, you build out those processes, and you look to leverage AI as a long-term strategic partner almost for your organization. We can play a key role in that as well. So I have given you plenty of reasons as to why AI is not the end of ITAM. Again, we'll probably have something else in 5 years that's the end, and it's really not. And how IT asset management professionals and ITAM as a whole can play a key role in supporting any AI initiatives or implementations or projects within the organization. If I've missed anything, please let me know in the comments. Reach out to me on LinkedIn and let me know, what kind of AI journey you're on and how you as an ITAM professional are helping your stakeholders and your organization with that. Other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, have a great week and happy ITAMing.